Welcome to another episode of News Dose, where I give you some of the latest news, rumors, and speculation on the game industry. And we have a few things to talk about today. Push Square sources indicate PlayStation is bidding for the Alan Wake and Quantum Break developer, Remedy Entertainment. So we're going to talk a little bit about that, and there seems to be a rumor that this year's Call of Duty game will host a 200-player Battle Royale mode. I guess bigger is better. There was also a few game-related announcements and trailers today, so we're briefly going to discuss those on top of everything else. But let's get right into this and talk about what you all really want to hear about, which is that Sony appears to be prepared to acquire Remedy Entertainment. Now, this is by no means any confirmation, but according to Push Square, they have multiple sources saying that Sony is lining up to make a bid for Remedy. Now, we do know that Remedy and Sony have been very buddy-buddy lately and have visited each other on a few different occasions. Remedy has even visited studios such as Naughty Dog, but the thing is, that doesn't necessarily mean that they will be acquired, but rather that they do have a good relationship right now. We also know that Sony has the marketing rights for their upcoming game, Control, which, by the way, looks like a great game. And now this is just my personal opinion, but I do think Remedy fits into the type of games Sony makes perfectly. I've always loved Alan Wake, and I enjoy Quantum Break as well, and those games very much feel like games Sony typically would make, which is third-person cinematic games. So with that said, I do think PlayStation fans would like what Remedy makes. However, and I said this in a previous video, but Remedy also seems to like PC gaming, and they like being independent. In this sense, I think they will remain independent unless their next game absolutely bombs, and then they'll need financial support. I really hope that isn't the case, because Control does look very good, and, I'm always going to root for good games, so hopefully that doesn't happen. But in that situation, I think numerous publishers could get involved, such as THQ Nordic and possibly even Microsoft. Hopefully not Google, but that's an entirely different story. Though I don't think it's too plausible for Microsoft, because I do believe they left on bad terms after Quantum Break released, and it didn't exactly meet expectations. Now, we do know that Remedy wanted sequels for both Alan Wake and Quantum Break, but Microsoft never signed off on either, most likely because they didn't meet expectations, which could be one of the reasons the two seem to have fell apart. Even in this situation, though, I think Sony would be the most likely destination for Remedy if they were to be acquired by anyone. But sometimes these things can be a bit unpredictable, kind of like, where will Kawhi Leonard go? All in all, though, I wouldn't be too surprised if Remedy does get acquired by Sony, but I don't think it'll happen just yet. Whatever does happen, though, please just make Alan Wake 2. We all deserve to see Alan Wake to the end, and it was always an excellent game. Now, staying with PlayStation news, there was a change in this month's PlayStation Plus free games, going from Pro Evolution Soccer 2019 to Detroit Become Human. My personal opinion is this is an absolute upgrade, but if you're looking forward to Pro Evolution Soccer, I'm sorry nonetheless. I don't know, I really liked Detroit when it came out, and I think a lot of people are really going to enjoy it who haven't played it before. While Detroit can take itself a little too serious at times, and it's more of a movie than an actual video game, I still think it is very worth checking out. Like I said, I like Detroit much more than what some other people did, and one big bonus of getting Detroit in PlayStation Plus is that Heavy Rain also comes with it, which is viewed as the best Quantic Dream game. I think it has like an 87 on Metacritic or something. So, in reality, you're actually getting two games instead of one, so either way, I think that this is an upgrade by every stretch of the means. Moving on, there was a few game-related announcements, and we'll discuss them real briefly here. And the first one, in my opinion, is really exciting too, which was River City Girls, developed by WayForward and overseen by Arc System Works. Arc System's involvement, though, is what really gets me excited about this game, and something a little bit about me is I absolutely love fighting games, which is what Arc System specializes in. Games like Guilty Gear and Dragon Ball FighterZ is some of the best fighting games in the industry, so their involvement definitely has me excited. And plus, River City Girls has a nice art style to it, and it just looks like a fun game. It does have 2-player local co-op, and it's coming to Xbox, PC, PlayStation 4, and the Nintendo Switch on September 5th. I'm definitely going to get this day one, and I'll review it as well. Dr. Mario multiplayer was also shown off, and it allows you to connect with your Facebook friends. You can challenge them and send them hearts of encouragement, and it really seems like the multiplayer is going to be a heavy focus in this title. Comes out next week, and it's going to be free to play, so it won't hurt to check it out at the very least. Speaking of mobile games, we are getting the opposite with Layton's Mystery Journey, which was originally a mobile game, and it's now coming to the Nintendo Switch November 8th. I believe this is actually the first Professor Layton game that will be on the Nintendo Switch. Correct me if I'm wrong. So for you Professor Layton fans, I hope you enjoy this one. It won't be too much longer before you finally do get to play a Professor Layton game on the Switch. Now the last thing I want to talk about is this entire Call of Duty 200-player Battle Royale rumor. And when I first heard this, I just kind of thought, why? Maybe this is just me and somebody may be able to explain this, but does adding 100 more players really make it more interesting? Again, this is just me, but I think the focus should be more on gameplay elements and not the player count. I don't always think that more is better. I mean, you can make a huge map you could make it 1,000 players for that matter. If the gameplay isn't right, it's not going to be any better. There has to be an actual element to having more players that would make it more interesting, or at least that's the way I believe. Maybe I'm completely wrong, and maybe somebody can explain this to me. But regardless, the rumor seems to have originated from the YouTube channel, The Gaming Revolution, and I don't know their track record, so take this with a grain of salt as of this moment. But when the developer was asked about Battle Royale, he simply said no comment. At the very least, I think we should expect another Battle Royale game mode if you're into that kind of thing. The Gaming Revolution is claiming right now that the map is 3 times the size of Blackout and will have 200 players, though as of this moment, only 152. And I think that's going to be another issue, is if they do decide to go with 200 players, you're going to have pretty good servers, so that's something to keep an eye out for. Anyways, again, take this with a grain of salt, but for me, I just think they should focus on the gameplay personally. The thing is, I don't even think Battle Royale games have perfected the formula just yet, and I think they could be improved a lot still, so I think it should be more about the gameplay myself. Anyways though, what do you all think about all this? And maybe you completely disagree with me, and that's fine. I want to hear about it in the comments below, and don't forget to give me a like and subscribe. Peace out.